Hi, Mippies. We're gonna do a reading. I'm gonna do a reading. You do what you do. I'm not your mom. I do have clothes on. They're just down here. Okay. We're gonna try to do this quietly, but it's not gonna happen that way. So we'll see. It's 12/12. 12/12. 12/12 is 3/3, which is 6. Change. 1 and 2 is alignment and balance. 3 is embodiment. So aligning, balancing, and embodying change. Let's see. I'm not big on numerology when it comes to like angel numbers. I feel like that was the first thing I learned in spirituality, and it's the least aligned with me, but clearly it's something that she needed to hear. So what else do you need to hear today? Okay, if there's any relevance to it, if you are finding yourself in attachments or connections that are either draining you, stagnant, or like past things calling and pulling on you, go to an herbalist and find you some black walnut hull. I use a powder form. I think it's a little bit easier that way. And take a bath with it. Take a spiritual bath with a little bit. A teaspoon is enough. You don't need too much, but you just put it in your bath and do a nice little spiritual bath with it to cleanse yourself of these cycles. That makes a lot of sense. You've got the 5 of Swords reversed, the 4 of Cups reversed, and then the 10 of Swords reversed. You're breaking out of self-limiting and also externally limiting cycles. So things that have kept you like oppressive, whether that be externally or self-oppressive cycles, from deluded or blindsided cycles. So things that maybe not blindsided, like horse blinders, where you're focusing on something that maybe shouldn't be focused on. So for example, like if it's love, now you're saying like, I'm worthy of love and love is gonna come to me. And it's not like eventually. You're like, when love comes to me, it's because I'm ready for it. And right now I'm focusing on what it is now. And if love isn't here now, it just means it's not here now. It doesn't mean anything about me or that I have to do anything or be anything or not be anything. It just means it's not here now, and that's enough. Does that make sense? Like not internalizing it. And I think that that's the biggest thing, is not internalizing cycles of oppression and delusion for yourself. Like not saying, oh, it was my fault that I did this and this and that, or I shouldn't have been doing A, B, and C, because everything that you did, you should have done, and everything that you didn't, you shouldn't have. But there's a reason for it. So like I'm maybe this is significant to be like a racial significance, where you're like, I hung out with people who did not be my cultural or my racial ethnicity or my cultural or racial identity. That's coming very clearly in my mind, is like being around people that are accepting of who you are, but only because you act like them. So like a black girl that acts white, you know, and like being denied your racial identity or denying your racial identity because of the people that you're around, where you're like, it's not necessarily anything wrong with it, but it's just not fully me. Like I'm half of me. It's not that I'm not myself, I'm just oppressing myself, as well as, that's gonna be loud, as well as surrounding myself with people that are also oppressing me. So I'm not sure if that has any cultural significance about that, or racial significance, but that came through very, very clearly. Yeah, and not internalizing it, like, so yeah, saying like there wasn't anything wrong with you and you didn't miss anything for being around people or allowing yourself to be in positions to be around people or experiences or your own, like you literally didn't know any better, and now that you do, you know, awareness breeds choice. So now you're making a different choice, and that's just it. There's no, you know, like it's not a personal failure, and that's what you're getting out of. You've got the Magician, excuse me, the Magician, the Page of Swords, the Two of Cups, and the Hierophant. You're stepping into a very clear-minded avenue for yourself where you're saying, you want to know what, I get to decide who. This is very much solar plexus identity focused. I know who I am, and not only that, but if there's multiple parts of who I am, I'm marrying all of them. So like marrying your higher self with your ego, and your ego with your inner child. And I say marrying as in like a marriage is, yes, it's a legally binding contract, but I'm not looking at it that way. I'm looking at it as like a marriage is a lifelong commitment to someone that's accepting all parts of them. It's like, I love you, and therefore I will accept more than just what I enjoy about you. So like, that's what I'm talking about. Marrying also, when you talk about like the divine feminine and divine masculine, marrying those within yourself. So it's like, I love all the ways that my feminine shows up. I love all the ways that my masculine shows up, and the ways that I don't love them, I can at least accept them, and I can commit to them for life because they're ingrained within you. So you're fighting yourself. But yeah, you're very clearly committing to who you are, and it's showing up as a very sovereign, very stable, and very assertive energy. Let's see. What else? That song, I think it's hate that I made you love me. I will find my way from you like flowers from the tomb. You decide who you are. That's very clearly like, those lyrics is like very clearly like you're probably feeling that. That might be a synchronicity for you. You've got the Seven of Wands and the Moon. You're not pushing things that you don't see. So it's like, if you're feeling like you have to do more, but you're seeing that there's nothing more for you to do, you're like, okay, my thoughts and my feelings are not, don't run me. You understand what I'm saying? Like, thinking, like understanding that your thoughts are just input. It's just an idea, and that you don't have to separating maybe an intuition between thoughts and intuition. But also understanding that like what's not being shown to you is not being shown to you for a reason. So I will act on what's in front of me, and I know that I'm somebody that is driven and ambitious, whatever adjectives that you want to describe yourself with for this message, but also understanding that like at the end of the day, I'm not going to push myself to be somewhere where I'm not meant to be just because I feel like I should. Like, I'm going to follow what's in front of me, and if it's not in front of me, like for example, if it's love, if love is not in front of you, it's just not in front of you, and that's not like a personal failure. You're not going to personalize something that is external, right? You're learning to live in harmony and to not, I think that there's a big duality aspect of what it is, how it is that you're experiencing life, and you're very black and white thinking. And I'm not sure if this also is like, I have to be, if there is like a racial or cultural identity where you're like, I have to be this or that, and you're accepting that like maybe I can be both, or I can have both, especially if you have like geographical kind of experience with different spaces. So you're like, well, I grew up here, so this is what I experienced. Like if you're, you know, like a Caucasian woman who grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood, and you're like, but I have this lived experience where it's like, that's all I know. So it's like, you want me to act like a Caucasian woman, but all I know is this, you know, like things like AAVE and all these things, and understanding that like, yes, there is an ethical way to be yourself and not be like a culture vulture or whatever, however you want to take it. This is just what's coming through. But there's also like a harmony where it's like, I'm just gonna be me, and I'm gonna let things be fluid and exist, and not, you know, be so this or that duality about it, and simply be like, I don't have to be anything, and I could be everything that I do or do not want to be, right? So it's not like I'm this, I'm that, it's just I am. It's simply existing in that I am, which also extends out to your external world. So it's like, if it's love, career, whatever it is, it's like, I am exactly where I need to be because I am. Yeah. You got a lot of pentacles here. You got Page of Pentacles, Page of Cups. There's a lot of finality energy here. I feel like we got the Page of Swords, Page of Cups, Page of Pentacles. There's a lot of finality energy and what's it called? Confirmed through the Wheel of Fortune, kind of like a celebration where it's like you're seeing where all the things and all the movements, good, bad, or indifferent, where they've led you. It's like you're following in terms of this, right? Like if you're going to be talking about the imagery, I guess I gotta focus the spider web. You're following the spider web from outside and you're closing in on something. You're closing in on a truth or whatever it is, and then fully understanding in which ways you've been entangled into your own life and why that experience or those experiences were the way that they were. I'm gonna do 2 more cards and then we'll be done. Guess not. One more. One more. Thank you. Yeah. I feel like, so you got the Ace of Cups and then Death. I feel like you're deconstructing yourself. When people are like decenter, deconstruct, all the different words that we're using now, where it's like decenter men, decenter sex, deconstruct religion, you're deconstructing and decentering all the things that aren't of you and of your essence. This is very, very much autonomy. This is very much solar plexus. This is very much personal power. You're allowing yourself to fully explore all your experiences without personalizing them or judging yourself for experiencing them the way that they do, or understanding, or not understanding, or denying the way that they've impacted you. And also understanding that there's fluidity. There's a lot about fluidity. Even in the Ten of Swords, you're like, this shows like, my bad. It shows like drowning in water. There's a lot about fluidity where it's like here, she's not focused on her reflection. She's not focused on her shadow. She's worried about, when we talk about the moon, we talk about feminine energy. We talk about the mystique. We talk about intuition. So like she's focused on her intuition and not her reflection, where it's like, even if there is like shadow work to be done, I'm not worried about it now, because if I was meant to be looking at it, it would be in front of me. And because the you know, intuition is in front of me, then that's what I'm going to focus on. Especially if you're learning about the balance of like your intuitive side and your physical side, or all of it, the mental, physical, and spiritual. You're fully understanding that like if I'm being focused, if I'm being guided to focus on my mental today, I'm going to focus fully on my mental. Until that changes, today I had to focus on my body, and it was until 12 o'clock in the afternoon, or in the morning, that I was only able to say, okay, I feel more like myself, and I'm finally going to be able to, because I was trying to do something different and my body was like, fuck no, fuck no, fuck no, fuck no. And it was rebelling at all costs. So I was like, okay, let me just give in, do what it needs to do. And I spent the entire day taking care of my body. I neglected every single one of my responsibilities and every single one of my, of my tasks and chores for the day. Dishes are still not done. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to worry about it until I'm going to go to bed and continue to take care of my body and, you know, organizing a list for tomorrow, because then I'm feeling more of a calling to then focus on other things. So point being is like, you're really focusing on like, I'm going to one fucking second at a time, one moment at a time, every single moment, I'm going to see where it is that I'm called to put myself and position myself to be myself in these experiences, and I'm not going to push past what that is. And it's all through, whether you're actively doing it or this is a confirmation of like, yes, you're doing a good thing and you're doing the right thing, where it's like you're closing in on yourself, you're closing in on your truth, but then also in a way where you're, if you're going to be using like the spiderweb analogy, where as you're closing in, you're plucking off all like the dead flies and everything. So like you're rebuilding your home to continue to be how, like, spiderwebs, they're very magnetic, so they catch a lot of things, to magnetize the right things. Because if you have like a decomposing fly in the corner, like another fly is going to smell the pheromones or whatever it is and see that and be like, I don't think I want to go to you. So you're deconstructing, and while you're doing that, kind of closing in on yourself. So you're like, okay, like I really know who I am, and I'm really cleansing myself out. I think that's it. That's all. Black walnut hull. I would say a teaspoon in a bath. Consult the people that you need to consult, medical professionals and such, if that's what you need to do. I'm not a licensed professional, and I'm not going to give you that advice without giving you that warning. Even herbs, you know, talk to your herbalist, or you know, whoever it is that you have access to, even if it's just the person at the store, to be able to understand what it is that you're using and putting in connection to your body. Don't just take a person's advice on the internet, because I'm not a professional in any fucking way. But yeah, do your best, be you, stay you, and stay in power. Bye-bye.